When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, people trying to get down.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
All right, welcome to another live edition of the ONG Strike Zone. I'm Brian Fulford. That's Kelvin Rozier, and that other guy is Kofi Hemingway. Brothers, it's good to see you guys. Kelvin, Kofi, how you doing, man?
Good to see you, man. Glad you got on orange this week.
Well,
doing well, man.
I see we all got
doing well, man. I'm enthusiastic about being here, Brian.
See, if you guys only knew what goes on before the painstaking hours and everything that goes into putting this live show together. Good to see everybody here, enthusiastic. We got a good show planned for you today, folks. Rattler Nation, plenty of stuff to talk about today. Loaded show coming up very early in our opening, really in our second segment. We'll take a quick time out in between. We've got our first guest coming up will be Colonel Gregory Clark, the FAMU National Alumni Association president. Will be coming on to talk about what's happening with our alumni association and maybe give us, from his perspective, the state of Rattler athletics. So it'll be always good to hear from him. Also, we've got some things to celebrate, as our guy MJ Randolph was recognized as the SWAC Men's Basketball Player of the Year. We'll talk about the win over Bethune coming up here shortly in the SWAC basketball tournament a little bit later in the show. The Rattlers open up the tournament tomorrow evening against Alabama A&M. So hopefully there's some Rattlers that are traveling to Birmingham, or at least there's a good contingent of Rattlers in the Birmingham area, Alabama area, that will be heading to that game. And then also, we're going to talk about the things, the week that was, the week that's ahead. We've also got to take time out to talk about a fallen Rattler, another legendary coaching figure in FAMU athletics, passed away over the past week. Head coach Joe Durant, and passed away at the age of 72. So we'll talk about that, and we'll get a chance. Actually, Colonel Clark was a former baseball player, and in those seasons when they won those MEAC titles. So we'll get a chance to kind of hear firsthand from one of his guys. So that's kind of fitting. And then a little bit later in the second hour, I had a great conversation with one of the members of the Dark Cloud defense, who is also a Esports champion. That his name is Donald Hall, and Donald Hall right there is the top dog on campus in terms of Madden 22 and even NBA 2K22. And that's one of the things that the SWAC has, this new gaming esports league, and so one of the first tournaments on FAMU's campus, he won. And so I had a conversation with him. You'll get a chance to listen to that. Pretty interesting, funny stuff there. All right, so fellas, let's get into the early part of our first segment, because it's going to be a short segment before we come in with Colonel Clark. Before we do that, let me remind you, if you're watching the show right now, go ahead and take a second, hit the like button if you're watching us on YouTube, and go ahead and subscribe if you are not already subscribed to the JBN site. Please do so. And then if you're on Facebook, go ahead and watch us, hit that like button and share. I want to make sure you share the show, because, again, coming up about 8:15, we've got Colonel Clark coming on for that segment. But let's start with the win over Bethune. Kelvin, I'm assuming you were in the house for that game. Give us the firsthand recap of the atmosphere for a great win by the Rattlers over the Wildcats.
The first thing we talked about was Rattler Nation being able to show out and hit around that 5,000 number. And Rattler Nation responded. It was very well attended. A lot of the players mentioned about the atmosphere. I wish we can make that atmosphere like that every home game, and hopefully we're working toward that. But it was a great crowd, a great atmosphere, and the team, the men's team, they persevered. I saw your predictions on your other show, and even though you were scared, you was kind of screwed. You went with the Rattlers, and you were the only smart one on that show. I don't know what's up with Drew. I'm gonna call him out later. But
a lot of times spent in Alabama. That's what it is. That's what it is. A lot of times he spent in Alabama.
But anyway, with the men's game, the Rattlers led most of the game. They didn't really create separation on what they did. Bethune had some pretty good shooters. They don't have much size, but they have some pretty good shooters. And so they shot free throws extremely well, and they shot the three well enough to stay with us most of the game. But we put up like 80 points, man. We shot the ball. We shot the ball well that game. And I would tell you a little carrot for the tournament for us is Jalen Spears being back. Now we have a real point guard who can distribute, who can also score and create his own shot, but handles the press a lot better and has a better turnover ratio. So I thought that the team got what he needed, which was a W going into the tournament. And I think Jalen is going to be our secret weapon because most teams in the conference hadn't seen him. And you got to remember, this team is a veteran team. They've been through even this year. They've won a lot of close games. They won on the road. And they're still hungry because they didn't get a chance to play for a couple of years for a MEAC title, and then COVID took a year away. So these seniors really hadn't had a chance to play for a conference tournament title, but maybe once, if that. So they're hungry too, and so I'm looking forward to what they do. But it was a good win, and then on the women's side, of course, uh, it's been a tough season, and I see that coach is already hitting the recruiting trail, and hopefully we can make some inroads there. It was seniors. Also, I want to mention it was seniors on day for men and women. So we honored our seniors. We had 4 on the men's side, 2 on, I believe, 2 on the women's side. So it was good to acknowledge and we acknowledged the cheerleader seniors also. So it was just a good atmosphere, good win.
Kofi, take away your thoughts. Good win, good setup for us going into the SWAC tournament.
Absolutely. Everything that Kelvin said, I just want to echo. Um, and this is just a tremendous opportunity for us to build. I want to see our basketball program really become consistently, or I want to say consistent winners, and I want to say at the championship level, especially on the conference level. And even nationally, I think the FAMU has the opportunity to definitely do that. And I think that, definitely the Bethune-Cookman game is always a showcase game for any potential recruits that may be coming in the spring. They have an opportunity to see the atmosphere, see what's going on, see what we have. But the good news is we haven't peaked. The bad news is we haven't peaked. So going into the conference tournament, I think as Kelvin stated, Jalen is going to be the difference maker. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he played in the last game did he play in the last game against Alabama A&M or no?
He just came back 2 weeks ago, so I'm not sure.
I'll double check.
That...
Keep talking. I'll let you know.
Okay. So either way, I think that he is still a difference maker. I think, one way to look at it is that we beat them up there. They beat us at our place. And I think the team that won the last game is going to probably be under the most pressure. They're evenly matched. And so we're going to have to make plays down the stretch and step up on the defensive end. And I think if we do that, I think that we stand a very good opportunity to win and definitely get to the next round.
Yeah, Spears was not there for that first contest that we played with them. He was not there,
and we won that game.
No, that was the home game. That was the home game, the one where they shot 25 free throws in the second half. The most ridiculous stat I think you'll ever see. I was a part of a ridiculous free throw stat game over the weekend, but that was ridiculous. 25, they were 20 of 25. So you factor in that they were 20 of 25 in the second half. It just let's hope we don't get those referees in the tournament. It's bad enough they'll be dealing with home cooking, but yeah, Spears was not there for that game. So yeah, that was one of the things that the guys when we did the preview show were asking who other than MJ. And what I told him is, FAMU really doesn't have a solid number 2 that you can go to and say that is the number 2 guy. Yes, you know who MJ is, but we don't have. Because at any point in time, it's shown this year that between DJ Jones, Bryce Moraine, Johnny Brown, heck, we even have a game where we had Yeah. So Cameron Reeves, Jalen Spear. So we are a veteran ball club. We do have a guy who can be the second and third option. That makes us a wild card. I think that does make us a wild card going into this tournament. And that's all you need. You need guys. You know who your one is. We feel confident that he's going to show up. You just need the other guys to. You need two or three other guys to play exceptionally well. And as we've already seen in the tournament, you need good point guard play. Good point guard play or bad point guard play cost Jackson State a chance at an upset already today. You know, their point guard got ejected with about 9 minutes to go in the second half, and that cost him, two technical fouls, he's gone. And next minute, down the stretch, Jackson State needed their point guard for a chance to tie and maybe take the lead. He wasn't there. The guy who was there ended up making a turnover, cost them a chance to pull the upset off because they had really played a good defensive game. Also, I want to make mention, Kelvin, you talked about the crowd, 4,687. That might be, you tell me the last time we had over 4,500 at Lawson for a basketball game. Anybody?
Probably Cookman about 3 years ago. We had slightly over 5,000, but that was the exception.
So, yeah, it was slowly building. So that's progress. Great. Now I hope that going into the future we're able to start from that point. That's where I'd love for us to be able to be. I'd love for us to be able to start at that point next season going forward. Last point I want to make, we finished the regular season with an 11-7 conference record. So that is now the fourth consecutive year that FAMU has finished the conference season above 500. Not at 500, but above it. And that's saying something given all those lean years, man, where it's like it wandered in the wilderness trying to get wins in conference play. So, I mean, it's credit to Coach McCullum and the staff for getting us. I keep telling these guys in the swag, we're a basketball school too. They keep laughing at me, but I keep telling them, I say, yo, we're a basketball school. Y'all just got to deal with it. And, it's bad enough y'all hate us as it is. So, look, let's take a short break because we want to give plenty of time. We want to make sure we pay the sponsors. Coming up on the other side of the break, Colonel Gregory Clark, our National Alumni Association president, is going to join us. We're going to talk about what the Alumni Association is doing, the state of Rattler athletics from the alumni perspective, and some other things. So good conversations coming up. Make sure to stay tuned. Go share the show. You're watching the OG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
The Sweet and Smoky Salmon Rub infuses smoked black pepper with dehydrated maple syrup, pink Himalayan salt, ginger, thyme, mustard, and more to make a sweet, savory rub, perfect for salmon, trout, and other delicate seafood.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your family.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
The Sweet and Smoky Salmon Rub infuses smoked black pepper with dehydrated maple syrup, pink Himalayan salt, ginger, thyme, mustard, and more to make a sweet, savory rub, perfect for salmon, trout, and other delicate seafood.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your family.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
All right, welcome back to O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi, coming up very shortly. Colonel Gregory Clark will be joining us. Now, he is out on the road right now, obviously, with our president, and they're doing a college fair. They're doing a president's tour that'll be rolling into Birmingham to Ramsey High School. That'll be going on tomorrow, in which, students will get an opportunity to meet the president and administrators, the FAMU Connection performance, meet some student leaders, recruiters from all the colleges and university, housing, living, and learning communities, Army ROTC. Great opportunity to connect with student leaders. So all that'll be going down at Ramsey High School, Birmingham tomorrow, 1800 13th Street Avenue S. That'll take place at 9:30. I believe that's 9:30 Central Time. So for those, or I guess when you're out that way, it's just 9:30, right? But for us, we look at it different. Got to make mention of some very sad news that happened this past weekend, as Rattler Nation lost another member of that great coaching Mount Rushmore that we have of great legendary coaches. FAMU baseball coach, Hall of Famer, Rattler Hall of Famer Joe Durant passed away over the weekend. Coach Durant was 72 years old. If I believe he passed due to uh, leukemia related, is what I read. But Coach Durant was the longest tenured and winningest manager in FAMU baseball history with 363 wins in 17 seasons. He took over the ball club in 1991, in which the Rattlers won 29 games and a MEAC championship. He led the Rattlers to 3 championships in his first 4 seasons, in 91, 92, and 94. He led the Rattlers to 12 20-win seasons in his 17 years, including 2 29-win seasons in 91 and then 2003. Some of the players that Coach Durant coached were Atlanta Braves great Marquise Grissom. Many people consider one of the greatest to ever wear orange and green. Probably right there next to Andre Dawson, I would imagine. I had a chance to meet Grissom this past summer, so that was for at a youth baseball organization. The name. Oh my God, I hate the fact that I can't think of the name of it. But yeah, before managing FAMU, Coach Durant played for Coach Costa Pop Kittles. And he also played with Major League Baseball Hall of Famer Andre Dawson in the early 70s. Durant was the first African American to serve on the NCAA Division I baseball committee from 99 to 2002. Gentlemen, any thoughts or that you would like to share about Coach Durant? Kofi, I'll start over with you and then come over to you, Kelvin.
Well, Tallahassee is a very unique place, and oftentimes you'll find our legendary people in servanthood positions, around the city. And so I met Coach Durant when I was like 6 years old. I was in the summer camp at Jake Gaither Park, and so he was the director out there. And I remember how he, just basically kept us in line and made sure that we were doing what we were supposed to do. But he was a strong leader, strong figurehead, and it takes a lot of passion. It takes a lot of love to coach any sport at an historically Black college. It takes a lot of dedication. I don't think many of us have a appreciation because, there's Rattlers, we just want to look up and just see W's, right? But we don't understand all the time all of the things that go into getting those wins and creating those W's and all of the behind the scenes conversations and things that happen just to fuel the team. It's incredible the amount of sacrifice that goes into that. And so for Coach Durant to produce the number of championships that he did was beyond amazing. To be able to find that talent. And, we're more of a baseball, quote unquote, we're more of a baseball school than we are even a basketball school. We produce several pros on that level, in the sport of baseball that have gone on to do great and mighty things and represent Florida A&M University. And Coach Durant was a large part of that. And he's a great man. And I just pray that he rests in peace. We want to lift up his family and all that are connected to him and his legacy.
Kelvin?
Often you can tell the measure of a man by how many people know him. I don't know if anybody in Dallas didn't know Coach Durant. He was so active and like Kofi. I first met him when he was working with Talent City Parks and stuff during the summer, and he was always working with youth. As long as I've known him, and the one thing that sticks out to me about Coach Durant is his temperament. He was a very nice guy, but very serious guy too. So whatever it was, that's what it was. But he had a way of getting his message across without having to raise his voice, without being mean spirited. He was just kind of matter of fact, and you didn't. He was the type of guy you didn't want to let him down. Not only did he play with great players under Coach Kittle, but he also coached quite a few um, greats. And let's not forget when Kobe talk about the history of FAMU baseball. Um, don't forget about Vince Coleman and the McCrays and so forth.
Lucas.
So Coach Lucas and so all those people had a direct relationship with Coach Durant. All of them knew him. They would come back whenever he had uh, fundraisers or needed something. He could call on any of those greats to help him out, to come support his events, and nobody would tell him no. And he put in a lot of years, successful years with FAMU. Um, so it is a big loss, another big loss, another true legend. And again, as Kobe said, we want to keep the family in the prayers, and we want to make sure we celebrate and send them out right. And at some point, we got to find a way to honor him uh, with the baseball program or facility.
Yeah, definitely. A tough, bit of tough, definitely a tough period for the baseball program, just in terms of we've had the sudden loss of a player, lost a legend. So yeah, hopefully we'll find a way to properly honor Coach Durant. I know the team is currently playing in my neck of the woods here in Orlando against UCF right now, but yeah, they're coming off of a tough weekend in which we dropped 3 of 4 to Ball State. But before we get into that, I want to add on to what you guys said and just my continued thoughts and prayers with the family. I had a chance to get to know Coach Durant's son, so I had a chance to just keep him in my thoughts, and let him know I understand. So, but so all of you, just stay tuned as more funeral arrangements and things like that are coming out. Make sure you stay in tune with FAMUathletics.com. Also, I'm sure FAMU baseball, whether it be their Twitter or Instagram, will be dropping info. And as information comes out, I'm sure there'll be an opportunity to pay your respects in whatever way the family sets up. So let's come back to we're talking about baseball. So I guess we've got to. Will you tell me? Do you want to transition to the baseball or go back to the basketball news?
We can go ahead and finish off baseball.
Yeah, I thought so. Let's finish off baseball. So the team coming off that tough stretch against Ball State, who, I mean, surprised me. losing 6-3, 7-4, 6-1. We did get a win on the last day, 5-3, but losing that doubleheader on Saturday, tough losses. A little surprising, I will admit. I think those are some. It was good to kind of close on a win, but any takeaways? Did you get a chance to get over to the field to Moore Kittle's Field, Kelvin, over the weekend, or Kofi?
I did not get out to the baseball game, but just more or less. I mean, Ball State's a pretty decent program. I think that we had they're winnable games. I don't think that we played our best, to be honest. But it's still very early in the season for us, and we haven't hit our stride yet as a team. So I want to encourage us all to really be patient when it comes to the baseball team and where this team is going to end up, especially once we get into conference play. So there's no need to push the panic button just yet. But I do want to see us get some more out of conference victories, because for me, it's not just about FAMU, but also the whole HBCU landscape and how HBCU sports is impacted by how athletes and others perceive our baseball league or our athletic programs.
Yep. Any thoughts there, Kelvin? You want to add?
I didn't make it over to the game this weekend, but I was paying attention to what was happening, and the scores kind of speak for themselves. We gave up 5, 6. Anytime we gave up 6 runs, we don't score but 1 or 2, 3. We only average about 2 runs a game, while we gave up averaging about 6 runs a game. I mean, we just didn't hit well. Our offense didn't show up. If you remember when we played our conference games, most of those games we were 6, 7 runs plus. So that early on. That's going to be our form. We're not going to shut teams down. We're going to have to generate offense in order to win. So, I'm looking. We can look and see if we don't get to that 5, 6 run mark more times than not, we're probably going to be in trouble.
Yeah, it's interesting. You brought that up last week, if I recall. Taking a look at the latest Black College Nines top 10 poll. This is their first week 1 poll that just recently came out as of the other day. And they have their polls broken up into large school, which basically consists of Division I, and small school, which consists of Division II and NAIA. FAMU comes in at number 5, behind Jackson State, Alabama State, North Carolina A&T, and Bethune-Cookman. Behind FAMU, you have Texas Southern at 6, Southern at 7, Prairie View at 8, Norfolk State at 9, Mississippi Valley at 10. So again, you can go to Black College Nines, NINES.com, and you can see their poll. And weekly, they have a ranking, also list kind of an RPI situation where they let you know kind of where the schools rank. And obviously, just on the number of Division I HBCUs is probably down to about, 12 in the SWAC, 4 in the MEAC. It's really down to 16 teams, if I'm not mistaken. No, 17. 17 or 18. My number may be off somewhere like that. All right. Hey, I'm told we've got Colonel Clark ready to go. So with that, let's see if our producer will go ahead and bring Colonel Clark in, and we'll go ahead and get our conversation with him. And there he is on the road, it looks like. Colonel Clark, how you doing, sir?
Hey guys, I hope y'all can hear me.
Oh, we hear you great.
You got me?
We hear
Okay.
you great.
Yeah. Yeah, I just
Perfect.
Just walked out of the SWAC game with Jackson State's women, and they were up. I can't remember what the score was before I left, but they were doing a great job.
It's funny you say that because I just got a text saying that there's upset alert going on where it's only a 3-point ball game right
Okay,
now
they
with
must have
about a
cut it. Okay, they must
yeah.
have cut it while I was trying to get on. Then okay, wow,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
they playing a great
yeah,
game.
that'll be I won't say I'll be surprised, but I knew UAPB was gonna give them some fits. Um so Colonel Clark, we were just talking about um Coach Durant just earlier, and you obviously being a member of the class of 2019 FAMU Hall of Fame, you were part of 3 of those MEAC championships with Coach Durant. I want to give you an opportunity to kind of share your thoughts on Coach Durant and the impact he made on you and your teammates' lives.
So I guess first of all, guys, thank y'all for having me on. Y'all do a great job every week representing the Rattler Nation. As it relates to Coach Durant, I got a special place in my heart because me being from the state of Alabama and he being from Alabama, Mobile, that is, we always had that friendship there. We call each other homies. Uh, Great spirit, great baseball mind, and just flat out loved his players. And I was fortunate to be on 3 of those championship teams with him. Two of them as an assistant, and then the 1991 championship we won when he was the head coach. He'll be truly missed. Myself and the B5B family, we're mourning over his loss, and he had an impact on each and every one of us. So I offer my condolences to his family, and just it was just great to have him in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Any as you think about in those years, what was it that, and for those who may not remember, what was it that separated FAMU and just the style of play, or what was it that you guys had that sort of separated you from other schools in the MEAC or just in baseball circles at that time?
I think that we were the best. First of all, the best conditioned team there was. We ran a lot, and every day we were running to Jake Gaither Park. If sometimes we'd run to the Tallahassee airport, but I think we was best conditioned. Number one, we had a great group of guys that wanted to play together. And I think before all of us got to FAMU, we thought we knew baseball. But when we got to FAMU under Coach Lucas and then Durant, we truly learned the game of baseball. We were a close-knit team and was very, very hungry. We hit the ball. We hit the ball. I'm sorry, somebody was calling. We hit the ball a lot. We played small ball, and we were just a coordinated team. So we played as a brotherhood. So that's probably the gist of it. We were pretty doggone good, and we beat a lot of people during that time frame. So that's probably what I would say would separate us. And just good, great group of guys who wanted to represent the university and win.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Hey, Greg, I want you to
Take
transition
care.
and kind of talk about what you see in terms of FAMU athletics currently under the leadership of Courtney, and then also um, the Alumni Association has been very active in supporting athletics and taking even a bigger role. Talk about some of the things that the Alumni Association has done and how that came about.
Okay. So I think AD Gaucher's done a great job and moving this athletic department forward. I think one of the unique things that he has, under his belt is the want to win. And, for us, the Rattler Nation, we're very rabid fans and we want to win. We'll put our money where our mouth is, if we got somebody pushing in the right direction to win. So I think he's brought that kind of esprit de corps to our athletic department. I think he's brought a sense of organization, and he's got his coaches to a point where, they know he got his back. So, I think we're heading in the right direction. I think the visibility of our athletic program has led to a lot of visibility that will benefit the university now and well into the future. When you start talking about LeBron James deal and having the likes of Ken Griffey Jr. showing up and just the things that we're doing with facilities, and making sure these kids have what they want, have what they need to be successful. Is there room for improvement? Heck yeah, there's a lot of room for improvement. But I think, we're going in the right direction, and I think Rattler Nation kind of sees it and starting to understand what we must do to continue to be successful. So I'm pleased there. As far as the National Alumni Association is concerned, one of the things that we want to do is jump in and see where we could help. And it started out around helping with providing muscle milk and fruit, and then it led on over into having a big impact on our football operations and helping with the renovations inside of that field house. I guess being a former athlete, I understand that at any institution they got a football program. Football drives the train, and we fix football, the rest of everything else will come along. And so I think we've jumped in and we made some great strides there to do that and help in that manner. So we've done those things. We've tried to feed them when we can and provide some resources when we can. We started taking Coach Simmons out on the road in the summertime, which started garnering some money. I think the first year we did about 60,000, and then after every year since then, it's been over $100,000 we've been raising. And those in the beginning, guys, those things bought sleds and blocking dummies, those kind of things. But I'm glad we're to a point in the athletic program where we don't have to, I guess you term, get out in the weeds with those kind of things. I'd much rather, as an alumni association, help provide some scholarship dollars to keep these kids in summer school as opposed to buying blocking dummies. But we did what we had to do, Kev, to try to help out where we can. So, we're going to be here as an association, and we're going to continue to help as well as the other DSOs, and just doing it as one team, and trying to make sure that the athletic program is successful. But I'm happy where we are. I'm happy the direction we're going in, the classics, and just the notoriety that's going on around that athletic department is certainly a breath of fresh air. So that's what I'd probably say has been the biggest piece of it, kid.
All right. Jump on there, Kofi.
Yeah, man. So how can we help additionally with where we are now, where we plan to go, and that whole transition? Because obviously we have not necessarily arrived from an athletic standpoint. Just statistically, I think volleyball has been our championship, but as far as our men's sports go, we haven't won a conference championship in some time. So we have the national titles, which were given by news networks and just different writers things. But how can we make that transition to go to the next level?
Yeah. Hey, Kofi, I think we just got to keep building. brick by brick. Like I said, I think we made a lot of strides, but we certainly got a long way to go. I think that if we continue to pour resources in our athletic department and start beefing up some areas, especially around academic affairs, the academic piece of it, with getting those councils in there so we can keep these kids, eligible, making it more of a smooth transition when we do get transfers in, to get them in school in a timely manner. And I think that everybody has got to be on the same sheet of music. The administration, athletics, alumni, everybody got to be pulling in the same direction to get us to that next level. And I think, Kobe, once we can do that, I think I mean, we're gone. It's going to be hard to stop us. But the pieces are there. We got to continue to pour some resources into it, and we got to pull everybody along, because athletics, even the band plays into all of that. That helps our team. I've seen that band will us to win in a lot of games, and I'm glad that the relationship is there between our band and our athletic program. But the resources, and the one thing I do like what Courtney is doing is he's out raising money, and you'll probably see a large gift be announced here pretty shortly. The young man is out beating the bushes, trying to get these large gifts in to try to fund some of these things. But I think it's pouring the resources in, Kofi, and making sure we got the right coaches in place to develop these young men and women and set them up for success. And so that's what I think. I think we're in a good conference, and I think overall, if we just continue to close ranks around the university, close ranks around athletics, and do those things that need to be done to be successful, I think we will ultimately be successful in a lot of areas. But I do concur, we hadn't won any championships in a while, and on the men's side of the house, and I think it's about time that we get going there. But we all got to be pulling in the same direction, and athletics has got to give us the vision on what's the next steps are. And how does that play into the overall, I guess, marketability of Florida A&M University? How does it all work together? Because they all connect. Athletics are doing good, enrollment goes up. I live right here in Birmingham, Alabama, and when our University of Alabama wins, they have no issue with enrollment. And I think that we need to pour the resources in there, guys, to get it done. And that's what my hope is, that we continue to do.
Now, I'm glad you kind of like brought up that whole enrollment thing, just because, it appears as though I want to say the Board of Governors has instituted a number of different stipulations over our university. How do we as alumni get to the point where we confront some of those things and push to get, pull the scales back into FAMU's favor? Because obviously this is a political thing, kind of, sort of. Back when we were in school, we were pushing 12,000, 13,000. We were constantly at the top with National Merit Achievement Scholars. And it appears as though a lot of that has gone away from the FAMU blueprint that Dr. Frederick Humphreys has left for us to be successful. How do we get back to that spot as alums? Because we've seen around the country where the state of Maryland has awarded HBCUs a certain amount. In fact, FAMU, I believe, got the government gave FAMU, I think, $99 million just recently. But how do we get it to that next level as alum? Do we need to sue the state? Those sorts of things. How do we push that bar?
So I think we got to fight this. Is like fighting a war on two continents. I think the first is looking at what we have to deal with that's right in front of us, and knowing that we can't change this in the near term. So I think what we got to do as alumni is start to educate our future Rattlers. our young men and women on the what's in front of them now cannot wait to get themselves prepared to come to the university. I mean, they can't take the ACT, SAT in their senior year. We've got to go back to ninth grade, and that's something that we're looking at as a National Alumni Association, and starting to educate these parents and getting these kids ready as early as ninth grade. You got to play the game that's in front of us. The other piece of it is trying to come to some kind of resolution diplomatically, if possible. And I think in order to do that, we as a collective university have to make a big deal out of wanting to get this done. So that's a hard decision that's going to have to be made by the leadership to start having some of them conversations about the disparities in funding and trying to make it right. And so my approach is always will try to do it diplomatically internally and get to the table and talk it out, as adults. But it's going to have to be. It can't be a one-sided approach. Meaning, FAMU National Alumni Association or the foundation, they can't get out there and do this, just unilaterally. It's got to be a university, I think, led effort to put some teeth into it, if you will. But so that's what I think ought to happen, guys. But I think there again in the near term that we have got to start to educate these young men and women, and we got to make sure we pour some resources into the student recruitment piece of it, guys. I mean, the president's tour is in here in Birmingham in the morning. We'll be hitting Ramsey High School, and hopefully we can get some kids in. One thing that I do worry about is we can bring them in, but can we financially help them be successful? And we're really to a point that we probably need to get ready to do a capital campaign. I think we're pretty close to getting ready to do that piece of it, because we really got to get some scholarship dollars in here, and we really got to get some multi-million-dollar endowments established to fund these kids, because I mean we can bring the best and brightest, but the dollars not there the way they were when Dr. Humphreys was the president. And so I know there's an effort to try to rebuild the industry cluster. We need to get that back up and running, but right now we need scholarship dollars badly, and I think that's really one of the things that's hurting us right now as a university, and that's my hope, is that we'll get out and start raising some dollars to benefit scholarships. Hopefully, so that's my thought, guys, on that. Doing it on two fronts, but in the near term, we've got to start educating them as early as ninth grade, and we got to start identifying these kids. If they want to be in the band, we need to start figuring out that early on and start getting that stuff lined up. If they trying to go into sciences, we got to get them prepped up. But we got to go find some scholarship dollars to try to help these kids matriculate.
Well, let me ask. It's funny that you bring that up, because obviously, with the announcement that came out a couple days ago from the White House, the record 2.7 billion with a B dollars that went into HBCUs. FAMU received 99 million, which was the largest amount to any HBCU among the over 100 schools. And as I'm reading here from the what they call the American Rescue Plan, requires half of these funds to be used to provide direct financial relief to students. How does that gift play into what you were just talking about? And then let me forward it, because I've always felt like when money comes in like that, it it helps athletics in a way that, let's say, if a gift of 100 million comes in, obviously the university wants to put it in different places. You want to put it in academics and other things, but maybe now other monies that might have gone towards academics don't necessarily have to go there per se, because you're getting a gift, and now that money can trickle to athletics. Is there any sort of trickle down that happens where athletics will benefit in some way from this major money? Not saying that this money or a portion of it is going to athletics, but maybe the trickle down of extra available funds helps athletics.
So it's my belief, and there again, I don't know all the rules, so I'm gonna try to give it to you the way it was given to me. I do know that we could not use those monies directly um, to benefit, athletics, but I do know that we use some to help out with buying down scholarship dollars, but buying down athletic scholarships, because there again, that's an academic piece there. So we were able to kind of use some monies to help athletics out because of them not playing through COVID. They lost all those dollars that they would use normally to fund their scholarship. So I know that was one area that they used some of the dollars to help out and help make them make good. Um, I know that, and I can't say this with FAMU because I don't think this happened, but I know some of the universities like Alabama State would do stuff like you know get medical staff, hire some medical people to help out through COVID and attach them over to help athletics out. I think people doing some creative things with it with those dollars. But I hadn't seen the final report, guys, uh, where these dollars, what all the areas touched. I've asked for it. I expect to get it. And so, but I think it could help. But even those dollars, guys, that doesn't even put a band-aid on, the monies we really need to kind of start to make ourselves whole. It helped. It helped a lot getting the villages. Sorry, the towers, the dead wave, which was a great thing to do. We don't have that dead anymore, but we needed the American Rescue Plan, and it helped kind of put your finger in the dike and close up that hole a little bit. So that's the part that I do know about it, Brian.
What's that number look like? It sounds like you know or have a number. What is that number if you can share?
It's I would say it's in excess of $1 billion. It's a lot of money. If you go back over uh, a number of years, and then if you would go back and kind of look at the performance-based funding, where there was many years that we didn't get any additional funding from the state of Florida, uh, but we're starting to get it now. But I'll probably say and it would take some. That there is a study being done. I hadn't seen the final numbers, guys. That's gonna look to see what it is, and so it's being done within the state. But I don't know that final number. I'm just taking a guess. It's well over $1 billion. Just looking at you know, you know where Tennessee State and even them schools in Maryland where they were. I mean, it's probably a lot of money, a lot of it.
Calvin, go ahead.
So, Greg, I have a suggestion here in terms
Okay.
of passing on in terms of enrollment specifics.
Okay.
Um, I do understand that the diplomacy side of it is necessary and so forth, and I do understand, of course, the funding side of it and the lack thereof. Suggestion that I think should get more traction and consideration. I see a lot of universities, including the state of Florida, doing is with out of state fees.
Mm-hmm.
All right, enrollment drives the funding process in Florida ultimately, right? You know,
Exactly.
you tell the state you want to have this amount of students at a full FTE. So we need to get enrollment up. I
Mm-hmm.
understand the test scores and all that, and I know we're doing pretty decent, pretty good on that front. But we got to get
Mm-hmm.
those enrollment numbers up, and I think the opportunity exists with out of state fees. And there's various ways that people are doing it, neighboring states or within a certain miles and so forth. Some schools have actually waived out of state fees for legacy kids, etc. So I think we have to put all the tools in the toolbox on the table, and that would help us push those numbers a little bit more. So that's my
Yeah,
suggestion.
yeah, and that's a good idea, Kev. Yeah, the only issue we have with it is gonna take a the legislature voting to do that stuff. But I think it's a good approach. And I guess we got to look at where we can take these wins at. I know they give us X number of out of state waivers. Maybe the approach would be is to engage the legislature and get a push to increase those numbers of out of state waivers, and that certainly will help quite a bit, and or make it an easier path for these young men and women to become in-state residents
Right.
over that period of time. So I agree with you. I do. I do.
All right, Kofi, go ahead and close it out for us.
Oh man, so obviously this is your last go round here
Yeah.
with this man. What would you say have been your greatest achievements as NAA president?
So I I would say I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's been tiring though. I will tell you that as well. Um, uh, for me, the joy that I get out of it all is seeing these young men and women succeed. And when I can look at it in the audience and over graduation and see a kid where we've used Save Our Students scholarship dollars to help them matriculate and pay that final bill off so they can walk across the stage. That probably gave me more joy than anything. But I'll say, that, and of course the students, they've been the joy, and that's why we do what we do and fight as hard as we fight to make them successful. I've enjoyed each and every minute of it, and I'll look to cross my legs, guys, and try to help from the sideline going forward. But I would say the raising of the dollars, and then the other piece, I would say the advocacy drive that we did to bring the cash billing over the finish line. That's another big one that I think that I would always remember. But it's been a joy to serve the university, and I look forward to it continue to grow. And we got an election April the 5th, starting April the 5th, and given the runoffs that we'll probably have, we'll finish this thing up around somewhere around the end of May. And then we also, guys, I'll tell you, we looking forward to coming to campus. And I wanted to make sure that I finished my last convention out and last term out having our national convention on campus. And so that's June the 2nd through the 5th. And most of our meetings will be split between the Grand Ballroom and Lee Hall. And actuality, guys, and this is going to be a first where I've asked the chairman of the board of trustees to move the BOT meeting into that week, and we're going to take all the convention individuals to the board of trustees meeting on that Thursday. And so it's going to be a great time. We're going to raise some money. We're going to have a symposium. They're going to get a chance to hear the history of Jay Gaither. We're going to talk about the university presidents. We're going to have a distinguished alumni awards gala. Then my final concert, Kofi, I'm bringing home Lynn Roundtree and
Okay.
Kimberly Holloway and Angela Poole gonna do some gospel early on. We're gonna rock out Lee Hall on that Saturday at that final concert. And Lynn and Kim, they gonna bring it. They gonna bring it home. So looking forward to coming to Tallahassee and leaving some money in Tallahassee and supporting the university June 2nd through the 5th.
That's awesome. June 2nd through the 5th, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Yep.
Obviously, this is not the end. This is a new beginning
Yep.
for all of us. And so we're looking forward to great things, man. Thank you for taking time out with us.
Hey, hey, not a problem. Hey guys, y'all got a great show here. Keep it going. Keep doing what you're doing. Trust in God, and you can't go wrong. So, super proud of all three of y'all, and just keep up the good work.
We'll do, man. Thanks.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay, take care. Y'all have a good one. Take care.
You too.
Did we lose
Is Brian
Brian?
frozen? I think the
he
sniper
sniped?
got him. The sniper
About
got
time.
him.
Pow, pow.
Well, at this point, we're going to go on ahead and take a commercial break, and we'll be back after these messages. Love you guys.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
The sweet and smoky salmon rub infuses smoked black pepper with dehydrated maple syrup, pink Himalayan salt, ginger, thyme, mustard, and more to make a sweet, savory rub, perfect for salmon, trout, and other delicate seafood.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your family.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
It's like a loot machine. All around town.
Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone as we have my brother Kelvin Rozier. We have a frozen Brian Fulford who will be back with us momentarily once we get unfrozen. See if I can use my magic powers to get him unfroze or something. Get him unfroze. Anyway, that was a great interview that we had with President Gregory Clark, Colonel Clark, and we want to thank him once again for joining us. Oh, he's getting unfroze. Look like he's getting unfroze. But at the same time, we want to take some time because I think that he hit on a number of different things in terms of the direction of where we need to be. Now, for me, coming up in the Humphreys era spoiled a lot of us because President Humphreys was an incredible, and not only leader, but he was an incredible fundraiser. He got out there, he made things happen, he connected with the right people. People made a big deal on the number of parties that he threw, but at the same time, those parties produced millions of dollars for Florida Agriculture and Mechanical University. And there was a high degree of aggression, I want to say, from the recruitment standpoint. And so, just across the board, and we've talked about this before, from athletics under Frederick Humphreys were successful in all of our sports, largely because he got behind those programs. So in order for us to get to that next level, we really need support from the administration. Now, this is not a knock against Dr. Larry Robinson. I think that he's done an admirable job. But, again, we have not gotten our men's championships on a conference level for a reason. And that's largely because of, I want to say, a complacent approach to athletics and a complacent approach to recruitment on a large front. And I think they obviously came at a tough time when we were on probation and we had to protect a lot of things. But there's a lot of work for us to do as an alumni, as a group, so that we can collectively come together. I don't think that Rattler Nation is as informed as we could be, as we need to be, so that we can move as a unit. In order for us to be strategic, we need information. We need to know what is what so we can ask the right questions and formulate a plan that's going to send our university and our athletic program forward. What's up with the dorms? Are we knocking down all these dorms? What's coming into place? What's coming down the pipe? What do we need to be looking for? When do the Board of Governors meetings meet? How can we rightly confront the Board of Governors? What is the exact move that we need to do as a collective unit? We need to know this because guess what? This is an election year. So we're going to be putting people in the office that are going to be making decisions for our beloved university. And we need to make sure that there's more than just Ramon Alexander fighting for the orange and the green. We need more people that are in positions of power to shift the narrative regarding FAMU.
Agreed, Kofi. And what I'll add, very well stated, by the way, what I add is this. We talked about the diplomatic piece and the fundraising piece. Part of that diplomatic and fundraising piece is applying the appropriate pressure where necessary. So sometimes you got to will a bit stick. You got to show it off and be willing to use it. And so what I would like to see is more of a commitment and through action and not words in terms of administrative and collective administration and leadership, and less territorial turf wars. And coming together, that means that some people going to lose a little influence. Some people going to lose a little, everybody going to lose something, but the university gains. And we just have to value different opinions and incorporate sometimes controversial, measures in order to apply the pressure necessary in order to help that diplomacy happen. Diplomacy just don't happen because people gonna do good because you say good things about them and so forth. Sometimes it's confrontational, and I think we're gonna have to. Our leadership gonna have to lead more, and gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive in order to make anything happen in the state of Florida with our current structure. And I think you know what I'm saying with that. I see Mr. B back, so Brian, I'm gonna turn it back over to you, man.
No, hey, look, I got sniped. I have no idea how the entire internet connection in my house just completely. It's like I got hit with an EMP or something, and it just everything just like whoa, where did my connection to everything go? But yeah, so I caught the last bit of what you guys were saying. I dropped out right when I missed what the concert. What's the concert that Greg was talking about bringing? I missed. That's where I went out.
Well, Kimberly Holloway and Lynn Roundtree, who were
Okay.
former members of the Marching 100, are going to be doing a great concert. I'm going to tell you now, Greg, if you're still listening, I'm telling you who to bring. Now, you need to get Wycliffe Gordon and Al Arrington. You get them two, and it's gonna be shut all the way down. You have to get Al Arrington and Wycliffe Gordon. You get them two, I promise you, it'll be an absolutely amazing, amazing show.
You know, one of the things that I caught, and like I said, great commentary from both of you. But one of the things that struck me when I heard from Colonel Clark was about all parts working together, which I found interesting because you're almost like, wait a minute, we're not all working together, you know, because that was my first thought. I'm like, wait a minute, we're not,
Look,
you
the
know,
proof is in
so
the pudding, Brian. The proof is already in the pudding. We don't have an outright men's championship in any sport since men's tennis. I want to say a couple of years, and now we
but
don't
Baseball,
I
even
don't.
have
Okay,
men's tennis.
but how does
baseball
that
conference
show?
tournament.
Give me tangibles. I don't know that how does that relate? How does one relate to the other? You know, because when I hear you talk about championships, I think okay. For me, I think about uh, obviously player talent, player development, recruiting, coaching. Now you know all of those things. What do you see? Where are you drawing that connection at? Well, I
Um,
mean, you're because you
well, let's look at it like this, okay? The administration, the head administration or the presidential administration are the main decision makers for our institution. So at the end of the day, our AD answers to the president. Our coaches still answer, our athletic teams still answer to the president. When it comes to admissions, we can go back to the Earl Holmes era where there were several SEC athletes that were transferring, trying to get into school that our admissions committee did not allow into FAMU. They went other places. And that would have made a difference with Earl's outcome, just from that standpoint. Where if President Humphreys were in the position, there's no doubt in my mind that those young men would have found their way in the class at FAMU. It's a simple click, like, okay, yeah, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. Now, again, when it comes to APR, or the academic progression rate, that's a science. There's a science that goes with that. And in order for that aspect of the athletics to work efficiently, you need academians, the academic side, to also participate from an advisement standpoint, from a tutorial standpoint, and they have to be able to offer that measure of support. You need that administrative support. I'm not sure that our administration understands that aspect, or that our teachers and professors are given additional incentives to assist with that whole aspect, financial incentives to assist with that, because I don't think that they should do it for free. But at the same time, the university's job is to educate and to make sure that our students are in position to prosper from an academic standpoint. And if they're not in position to do that, I'm not blaming our coaches alone. I'm not blaming our athletic director alone. I'm looking at the president. I'm like, sir, this is like your third time at the helm, and we still have APR issues. We still have things that are going on. We still have things that are unstable in that aspect. We need the I want to say the presidential administration to get behind and to bring us all together. Our job as alumni is basically to support and to bring a measure of accountability to make sure that people are doing. But the people that are in power to make decisions, they are in a position to serve the university. Now, I think sometimes they get in a position and a title and feel that the university is supposed to serve them. And I think that that's out of order. And I think that for a large part, I think that they are doing the very best that they can, but there is room for improvement. There's a greater measure of commitment that needs to come from the presidential administration in order for athletics to go to the next level. And there has to be a greater measure of commitment on our level from alums, being able to, of course, be informed, to commit to buying season tickets, to commit financially, to commit on those levels. But bringing everything together is necessary. Absolutely necessary. The coaches cannot prosper without administrative support.
In a perfect world, what does that look like? I mean, just flat out, what does it look like? Because I hear what you're saying, and it sounds great, but
right. For me, I would like to see just an additional, I want to see a level of agreement, or some stuff is just basic common sense. Even last fall, we had a number of players that Coach Simmons was recruiting, that had an opportunity to play, they probably played for us. This team had a good chance to really go undefeated. They ended up at Bethune-Cookman. They ended up at other schools. And we see this across, just even from an academic standpoint. And I know that there's pressure from the Board of Governors, but I'm like, my God, people, y'all are acting totally like scary when it comes to just making simple decisions. One person is not going to bring down the entire graduation rate and the graduation flow by itself. So let me say this. Okay. Agreement with the coaches to admit certain players that have the ability to increase the profile and measure of success for our athletic teams and programs. There should be a greater push from the administration to actively give support academically from tutorial and advisement standpoints. There need to be more people involved so that the weight is not only on a few. It's just like moving a big piece of furniture. Okay, so if you try to move it by yourself, it's very difficult. The more people that you have moving that big piece of furniture, it becomes easier. The burden becomes easier. We're able to get there faster. So there needs to be more support on the academic side for our athletes so that we don't return back to a place where APR is an issue. That has to be a conversation.
So Cole, I'm finna succinctly put it in numbers. Get the athletic budget up to 12 million, which is kind of between 11 and 12 million is what you spend every year anyway. Regardless of what we say, we keep telling people 8 million, 8.2. It takes around 12 million minimum to do all the things that Kobe talking about. Having NCAA certified advisors, having enough trainers, having all that support program, having more GAs, grad assistants for all sports, and for all departments to include compliance and marketing and etc. So So what it comes down to is resources. Resources can be financial, they can be people. We have certain departments on campus that we probably could utilize a little better in making up the gap on some of this stuff. And that's what bringing everybody together under one vision and umbrella would do. The other part to it, though, and I have to be just frank and honest with the Rattler Nation, some people have knowledge, some people have titles. We need the people with the titles to have the knowledge, or to be able to listen to the people who have the knowledge and don't have the titles. And I'm gonna leave it right there.
Well said. All right. So with that, we will take a break. Coming up out of the break, we'll go right into our interview that I had with Donald Hall, who is part of the Dark Cloud defense, but also an esports champion. So we'll get to hear a little bit about Donald and his ventures into the world of esports, and then come back and wrap up the show with some final news and notes and some hot takes. Thanks for watching the OG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
The sweet and smoky salmon rub infuses smoked black pepper with dehydrated maple syrup, pink Himalayan salt, ginger, thyme, mustard, and more to make a sweet, savory rub, perfect for salmon, trout, and other delicate seafood.
All right, it's my pleasure now to be joined here on the OG Strike Zone by one of our Rattlers, our very own Rattler, part of the Dark Cloud defense. But more importantly, he's an esports champ, serving notice around campus that if anybody thinks they have game in Madden 2K or that NBA 22, they got to come through him if they want to get to the esports championship. And that's defensive lineman Donald Hall. Donald, thanks for joining us. How you doing today, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And hey, you know, esports is really big. Look, I got to tell you, man, us old heads, we are very jealous that you guys have something called esports. We used to just play in the dorms, just play, and there was no competition, there was no national tournament, there was no gifts and rewards. So we got much respect for y'all, and are very. We sit back and like, man, if they would have given us a Tecmo Bowl tournament back in the day, man. So uh, we'll get into talking a little bit about the tournament and all, but you came from you're from Olive Branch, Mississippi. You've been on the yard for a couple years now. What attracted you to Florida A&M out of your school where you were at in Mississippi?
So originally my freshman year I was at Prairie View. And my tight ends coach there was Coach Black. I played defensive line, but you know, I was a freshman. I played it a little bit, so the whole coaching staff, I was familiar with the whole coaching staff. So I had a relationship with Coach Black. I ended up going JUCO, went down there, won a national championship. And so the recruiting process started basically when you go to junior college. Your recruiting process starts just like in high school. It was basically all the way up. I had a bunch of schools recruit me, but it was just I knew Coach Black and I knew I was gonna be in good hands. At the time, I really didn't know Coach Simmons. I just from what I heard from older players that were at Prairie View, because when I was there, he wasn't the head coach. So I just talking to my older teammates from there, and they just told me that I'd be in good hands. And I came down to Tallahassee. I had a good time. At the time, Coach Street was the defensive line coach. I had a good relationship with him, and just from there, that's what really attracted me. My parents, they know a lot about when I got the FAMU offer. They're both products of Mississippi Valley State. So when I got the FAMU offer, they were, you going to FAMU.
They know. They knew. That's what's up. Yeah, I looked at your timeline and saw that you originally were at Prairie View, and I was wondering if who the relationship was that you had, because I know that was right about the time, I think, when Coach Simmons either was leaving or had just left. And so I'm not familiar with who was still on staff there. So you said it was Coach Black. So that was good that those relationships were still strong, and that you saw FAMU as an opportunity. And I don't think FAMU had joined the SWAC just yet. When you so what was that like when you got when you were part of hearing the news that FAM was going to be in the SWAC?
I was really excited because I really wanted to play Prairie View, but we didn't get them on the schedule. But it's really I didn't know much about the MEAC because I'm from the South. MEAC is the East Coast, so I didn't really know much about the MEAC other than Howard a little bit. But Howard and FAM, but SWAC, I just feel like I just love the SWAC just because how the fans, how close every school is in the SWAC. I know like in the MEAC, you might have to travel to Delaware State one year. Everybody can't come see that game, but in the SWAC, everybody is right beside each other. Rivalries, So I was just really excited about that. When I got here, it was COVID. My first, I was only on campus for like a month, and then COVID hit. So, and the whole thing about we went like 3 seasons where we couldn't play, not 3 seasons, but 3 semesters where they told us we were going to play. We ended up not being able to play, but, I'm happy to finally, I was happy to finally be able to get on the field.
Now you had obviously we went to Mississippi Valley State this past year with your parents being alums. Did they get a chance to go to that game? What was that experience like for your family?
It was great just because, most of my family is from around the area. That's the closest game. I think I had like 30 or 40 people there. So that was the closest game for me. Obviously, my parents are alums, so they just came back, sat on the FAMU side, they just
I bet you had to do a lot of educating for a lot of people about Itta Bena and just that area, because that was the first time that Rattler Nation, FAMU, had ever been to Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah, a lot of guys just asking me because I didn't grow up down there. I grew up in the Memphis area, Memphis and then Olive Branch. But I didn't grow up down there. But I have a lot of family down there, and I know the area. So just showing them, we can go on a road and we won't see anything but a Dollar General and cotton fields for about 20 miles. So that's just different for a lot of these Florida guys. They're big city guys, so that was different. Just had to give them the say so about how it is in Mississippi.
Yeah, that's a wonderful experience about the SWAC. There's a lot of culture, a lot of history. So I mean, every stop is a learning lesson because there's so much history in those parts, without a doubt. So look, this past season, an excellent season, part of the Dark Cloud defense. This upcoming, we're here in the spring. We're about 5 practices in the spring. What's your early take on how spring practice is going, how the off-season workouts been for you and the rest of the Dark Cloud defense?
Right now, I'm just really in the more of a spectator mode. I tore my ACL on homecoming.
Okay.
It was the 3rd drive I tore my ACL. So I had surgery in like November. So right now I'm in more of a spectator role, but I just feel like we're picking up right where we left off just because we had a young defense. Of course, losing some big time pieces in the back end, but we had guys ready to step in last year, and guys definitely ready to step in this year to take that role. And as far as workouts, I mean, we're getting bigger, faster, stronger every day. We got the youngest and best strength and conditioning coach, I believe, in the nation, and Coach Forney. And, we've just been hitting it hard.
Are you hopeful that you will have an opportunity to get back on the field at the beginning of the season, or you think it'll be kind of mid-season for yourself?
Oh, no, I'll be back fall camp. I have my surgery in November, so I'll definitely be back in fall camp. And the first game, was full force. I've been rehabbing pretty good, so.
Okay, good to hear. So let's get into talking a little bit about this esports thing, man. Talk a little bit about your this. Let's start with just your fascination or your obsession, if we're gonna call it that, maybe, because I think you got to have a healthy obsession in order to be good. Where did that start? How long have you been playing Madden and NBA 2K?
I would say, I've been playing Madden all my life. I had, older cousins that just used to whoop up on me real bad, and just, you gotta learn fast when you just getting whooped on like that. So, I ended up just getting good at Madden. I'd probably say, probably about Madden 16 is when I just became really competitive about it. 2K, I was a basketball player first before I played football, so 2K always came natural to me. But I'm very competitive, so I never like to lose. So it just, if I lose, I gotta just get better. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of the reason you say a little bit of obsession. It's just the obsession. I don't like to lose at all. So I just wanted to, everything. I just wanted to be the best. So
yeah,
that's where my.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's where I think my obsession comes from, is just not wanting to lose.
How do you correlate? You talked about playing basketball, being a basketball player first. How do you correlate what you see in the video games with the real thing? Like, does that give you feel like that gives you maybe a little bit of an advantage when you're playing against somebody else? Talk a little bit about the correlation there between the game and real life, the video game and real life.
Of course, it's a simulation game, so everything isn't 100% realistic. But as far as Madden, I just feel like if you're good at Madden and you know football, it's very hard for you to lose, because, a lot of guys can just see something online and run it good, but they won't know situations, know what to do at certain times. It's just, I feel like, especially like seeing coverages on Madden, I definitely know what man coverage is like. If 90% of other guys playing Madden that don't know anything about football, because it's a video game at the end of the day, you show them man coverage in real life or in the game, they won't know what it is. So I just feel like that definitely gives you an advantage if you know football and you also are good at math.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So I mean, amongst your teammates, are a lot of you guys on the team? You guys, I've imagined a lot of you guys play Madden, and do you find some of the concepts and things from Madden applicable to what Coach Simmons and some of your other coaches are bringing to you in those meetings and such?
I wouldn't say that. Just
don't go that far, huh?
When we're playing, it's more fun. I would say definitely more fun. But like we're running, like when we're playing together, we're throwing the ball 80 times a game, 60 times a game. No situation going for it on every fourth down, but yeah. So I would say that.
So the toe gang, I'm sure they're like, y'all throwing the ball too much, man. Don't run the ball, huh?
I play the game. Running back is there to block.
What is your go-to? Who's your team, or what's your specialty? I don't know. You don't have to give away your secrets, because I know there's more tournaments up ahead. But what is it? Your style of play? What separates you from a lot of your teammates and from other competitors that you've gone up against?
I would just say on defense, I'm a big man coverage guy, just because I just want to bump and run, get in your chest, so you just can't run any routes you want.
Hello?
Are we live?
We can't be live. I hope we're not live. Kelvin, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right.
All right, it's my pleasure now to be joined here on the O&G Strike Zone by one of our Rattlers, our very own.
Okay. Just because I just want to bump and run, get in your chest, so you just can't run any routes you want.
This tournament and we live.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Check.
Okay, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi. We apologize for the few technical difficulties. I'll tell you what, I will make sure in post-production that full interview with Donald Hall gets into the rotation. So this is all the more reason why you want to be a part of the BCSN Pod Zone, so that way you'll be able to hear the full interview. And if you have our Jericho Broadcast Networks app on Apple or Google, just go search MyJBN, MyBCSN. We'll make sure that the full interview gets made available there. So again, I a pretty good interview with Donald. Real engaging young man. And I'm excited for his future. And hopefully, like I said, he gets on the field and is healthy. And that's also a similar. Well, I won't say a similar injury, but we also kind of learned that Isaiah Land is nursing an injury. He too is not participating in spring. We learned that from the recent podcast that Rory Sherrard did. So that was a good podcast. I don't know what happened to the podcast. It was a good podcast, and then all of a sudden it's no longer available. I don't know if he had to pull it down or what. I'm just saying, because he did have an interview with A.D. Gaucher, and I don't know, maybe something was said and it had to get pulled. I don't know, but it was there in 1 minute and now I can't find it. I'm just saying. But I understand how that happens, because it's, technology can be a bee. There you go. All right. So all right, let's go to Marquise at the combine. As I take a look at Marquise's combine numbers, just taking a look here, some of the performances from some of the HBCU guys who were there. You had Jacoby Durant from South Carolina State, Joshua Williams, a defensive back from Fayetteville State. So you had three defensive backs, and then you had Jatyree Carter of Southern. And from most of the reports that I have read, they were – now I saw that originally Marquise ran a 4.5 or 4.45, and then he came back, and if I read that correctly, he ran a 4.41 in the second. Say again?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. His name did get mentioned. Yeah, he did run a 4.41. His name did get mentioned and served. I'm reading an article from Fan Nation 2022 NFL Combine Day 4 winners. Some of the top performers from the fourth day of the Combine. Makes mention of a few guys, and then right in there is Marquise Bell. The reading says, one of the multiple HBCU products at the Combine, Bell put on a show at the NFLPA Bowl in California, where his years of high-caliber play gained some recognition. That hype carried over to the Combine, where Bell recorded a 4.41 40-yard dash and a 10.3-foot broad jump. He finished with flawless field work, including no drops and good lower body fluidity. So that that comes up right there along with guys like Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame, who is considered to be one of the top guys, and Lewis, I think the last name is Sign from Georgia, safety from Georgia. So, fellas, you know, Bell could very well be a day two guy by all accounts. I mean, I
Yes.
haven't seen anybody's mock draft that really extends out that far, but it's Marquise show what we all thought he was capable of doing, you know, for real. And so props to him. Uh how many, if you guys had to make a prediction, how many HBCU guys do you think will get drafted? I hate sending you down this rabbit hole because I swore I wouldn't do that, at least in terms of asking that question, but I'm asking it. So, Kelvin, how many guys? What's your number of HBCU guys drafted?
3.
Three. Wow.
I think
Okay. Go.
Marquise. Yeah, I think Marquise at 6'2", 212. His video spoke for itself, and he was at his best against our best opponents, South Florida, Southeastern Louisiana, and he was consistent. And what this combine did is show that when you put him up against the best from a measurement standpoint, that he's among the best. So it just reaffirmed everything on video about his abilities. So he's definitely, to me, a day 2 pick. I believe South Carolina State's DB is probably a day 3 pick as a slot cover guy. He's very productive. He ran a 4.41 also, by the way. And I saw where the other DB, I think all 3 DBs will probably get picked in this draft. Was highly ranked coming in. I think he was kind of one of the top guys coming in. So I'm gonna put him at 3 for now.
That's good. How about you, Cole?
If I were playing spades, I'd say 3 and 2 possibles.
Who
3 and 2 possibles.
Who are your? Do you have the same 3 as Kelvin, and who are your 2
Same
possibles?
3, but I want to say that Collier played at UCF and was a starter and did phenomenally in the HBCU All-Star game. And I don't want to discount it, but even if he doesn't get drafted, that guy's going to be playing on Sundays. So I believe that he's going to have a strong shot to get drafted. If he doesn't, he'll definitely make it as a unrestricted free agent. And that's pretty much it, bro. But I can see 5 definitely making teams.
I was thinking 5 myself, and I'm interested to see if Aquil Glass gets an opportunity on day 3.
You get a kill and then. Sorry. No. I'm shutting up.
I was just going to say that I think with skill positions like Collier and Bell are defensive positions and offensive tackles, I think you've seen HBCU guys get drafted in those positions probably more than any others. So it won't surprise me to see an offensive lineman get taken, and then maybe 2 or 3 DBs, maybe 3 to 4. Question is, will these college coaches or pro coaches and staffs have enough confidence in the ability of what they've seen from Glass? Because in a draft class that every draft scout has said is not, all inspiring. I mean, you got one of the top quarterbacks has small hands. I don't know what that means, but it doesn't sound like a good thing. So if he's one of the top guys and he's only been out there he has less accolades than Glass, So I just got a feeling if there's going to be 5, I really hope Glass gets an opportunity to be one of those 5 if there's 5. So I'm going 5 with Glass, Bell, Collier, And then I'll, who knows where else they go from there. But I do think you'll get a couple guys on day 2, and then the other ones will come on day 3. But yeah. All right, let's put a bow on the show. We're talking about the SWAC tournament here. It's taking place in Birmingham, Alabama, Bartow Arena. I'm hoping Rattler Nation in the Alabama, North Florida area is going to Birmingham to be a part of this. I'm told that tickets are ranging from about $10 to $15 for the session. FAMU plays the night game at 8:30 local time, 9:30 Eastern. That's tomorrow. We take on Alabama A&M. We talked a little bit about earlier in the show. I think we're all on board with FAMU winning the first game. The real question is, gentlemen, how far can we go? Now that you've seen the seedings, because I do think that should factor into the answer, where do you see us going? How far do you see us advancing in the SWAC tournament, Kelvin?
I'm glad you asked that question. There's not much separation between the 8 seeds. I think everybody done pretty much beat everybody at least once. As I look at the top 4 seeds, uh, I believe it won't go chalk. Not the top 4 seeds won't win. Somebody's gonna get upset, and my guess would be Grambling over Southern, even though Grambling has beat Southern twice already.
They own Southern now.
I don't think that's a fluke. I think that's a matchup issue just for that game between those 2 teams. Because they've repeated it twice, and the games have looked pretty much similar both times. So unless Southern shows something different, and they shoot a 3, which is what they're best at, and if they get really hot with the 3-point shot, I think Grambling will probably end up pulling that off. I do think that Alcorn State and FAMU will play, and I'll just speak to our first opponent, Alabama A&M. They don't shoot the 3 very well. They're more of a defensive team. They're not a high-scoring team. I don't see them going to the line 25 times in one half again. And then we got Jalen Spears. I just think from a matchup standpoint, unlike you, my bigger question for our team it will be who I project we will meet next. I think we match up well with Alabama A&M, and they're a good opponent for us. So I do think we're going to meet Alcorn State in the next round. We split with them. That's kind of a toss-up game, to be honest. I'm going with our depth. We're a little deeper, and our new point guard, our returning point guard to the team that'll get us over the hump. But whoever win that game out of us and Alcorn is who I'm predicting to win the tournament.
Okay,
Kofi. And I suspect Texas Southern will come out as the 1 seed to make the finals on the other side of the bracket.
All right. What do you got, Kofi?
I'm going to keep it short and simple. We can make it all the way to the finals and win, or we can lose in the first round. So that's how tight the SWAC is this year, especially among your top 5 seeds. I'm going to say my heart says FAMU, okay? My mind is saying Texas Southern is going to get it done again. But my heart is saying FAMU. I think that this is an opportunity for us to stamp on an incredible year. And I think that if we can go on ahead and pull this off, that's going to be huge in us getting the all sports trophy with our men's program. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, wow, you going to the all sports award, huh? Nice. I'm going to. I said this on the preview show. I had FAMU winning. I was the one of the only the 4 people, the 3 other people that I was with that picked FAMU, including a Rattler alum. I won't mention his name. I had us beating, and then I told us, as I said, I see us playing Alcorn State too. That's the game that worries me because I think Alcorn is a good team. I've watched them enough. That's a good team, and I think that's a knockdown, drag out matchup between us and them. And so I don't know. I can't even tell you which way that's going to go. But I do have a sense, like what you said, Kelvin, that the winner of that ball game could very well win it all. My thing is that Texas Southern, the pedigree that Texas Southern has is just is stifling. And so while the Southern Grambling matchup is going to be interesting, um, how they deal with Texas Southern will be interesting to watch. But yeah, all four of these matchups, you already seen the first game of the day. Texas Southern Jackson State was a tight game. Right now, as we're talking, Prairie View's up 30-22 on Alcorn. So that game is just gonna go all the way down to the last possession. I'm pretty sure that's gonna go down to the last possession. So the question is, can Alcorn? They've been in these close games with Prairie View all season, so why should this one be any different? So we're looking forward to that at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern. Not sure. I talked about doing a watch party. I don't know. We might. Who knows? Just keep that in mind as you're out there watching. Got to make a quick mention here, guys, as we wrap up the show. Our bowling team took second place in the TNBA Invitational over the weekend. So congratulations to bowling finishing second in that race or in that contest or in that tournament, I should say. Uh, did you guys see where the 44 car, the FAMU 44 car, run by Greg Biffle, he actually led a lap. I believe he finished in a better finish than when they had the Grambling paint scheme. So again, that puts us one up on Grambling, and he actually led a race. And I kind of tweeted at Greg Biffle. He was kind of happy that he led his first race in maybe several years. And I said, hey, you need to tell Mr. Cohen keep that paint scheme because us Rattlers, we strike from the front. So you have no choice but to continue to lead more laps with the current FAMU theme. So we'll see. I'm sure they'll probably go to another school, here shortly for another race or two. But we'll see what happens there with the FAMU 44 car, New York Racing. Got to mention softball. Softball got 2 wins, 2 out of 5. 2 wins out of 5 games played in Tampa over the weekend, and their schedule currently they're 5-15 right now. Let's see what's upcoming for them. Well, the games against Furman that were scheduled today got canceled, so we actually start SWAC play on Sunday. Sunday and Monday, we start SWAC play out in Montgomery, Alabama against Alabama State. So pretty much the non-conference is over, finished 5-15, and now we pretty much get into SWAC play. For the men, the men took a tough one on the chin today. And I'm saying men baseball, I shouldn't be saying that. Baseball took one on the chin against UCF down here in Orlando. I don't even know what the final score was, but I know they were down a lot. So yeah, you can go look that up. This weekend they are in DeLand, Florida, which is also here in Central Florida, for a 3-game series against Stetson University. And that's a beautiful ballpark where DeLand plays. I may try to. There's a lot going on this weekend. Ooh, I'm not even going to tell you what the score of that game was against UCF. It just flashed. I'm not even going to talk about it. Yeah. So we'll just keep moving forward. But anyway, this weekend against Stetson University in DeLand, Fridays at 6 p.m. first pitch. Saturdays 2 p.m. Sunday is 1 p.m. So Central Florida Rattlers, do your best to try to get over to DeLand and watch us against the Stats and Hatters. March 15th, looks like we conclude the non-conference portion of the schedule in Jacksonville against the University of North Florida. And then next weekend, we take on Alabama State. So there's that. All right, fellas. Well, that's going to do it for this show. Got to again want to thank Donald Hall for talking with me earlier. Again, you'll catch the full version of the interview on the podcast a little bit later. Got to also thank Colonel Greg Clark for joining us live from Birmingham, Alabama. And want to remind you every Wednesday night from 8 to 10 p.m., find us on Facebook. And of course, find us on YouTube. And we appreciate everybody who has been a part of the show out there on the message boards. Make sure to share, like, and subscribe at ONG Strike Zone is where you can find us. Any comments, thoughts, or opinions, send them to ongstrikezone@gmail.com. And you can download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app on your Google or Apple Play Store. Just search MyJBN or MyBCSN. All right, fellas, any any last words or parting shots?
I am in intercession for Tennessee State to join the SWAC. I'm praying that their administration wakes up. Their student body wants to join the SWAC. The band wants to join the SWAC. Eddie George wants to partner with. And this was President Humphrey's dying wish, just to see, FAMU and Tennessee State play every year. This is one way to just go ahead and solidify that, because I'm of this opinion. If they don't join the SWAC, I'm like, we don't need to play them until they do. No HBCU from the SWAC needs to play them. They need to feel the financial burden of this old dumb decision and why it's taking so long. That's my 2 cents.
Calvin.
Ditto to what my brother Kobe just said, and I just want to congratulate MJ Randolph, Conference Men's Basketball Player of the Year for the SWAC. Well deserved, well earned, and I'm looking forward to them having a great tournament.
Yes, indeed. MJ Randolph, an amazing stat line this year in conference play. Number 2 in scoring, number 10 in rebounding, number 5 in assists, number 5 in field goal percentage, number 1 in free throws attempted, number 1 in free throws made, number 7 in steals, number 1 in minutes. The man had 2 30-point games in conference. All those statistics I just gave were all in conference play. Go find me another player that was a top 10 in the major 4 categories. You can't find one. You won't find one. And that's why MJ Randolph is the player of the year. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Looks like Kofi's out. So guess what, Kelvin? This is you and me. We're going to get out as well. So Melody, our producer, we want to thank her for producing. For my partners, Kelvin and Kofi, I'm Brian. You guys, thank you for watching. Rattler Nation, be safe out there, and make sure wherever you are, make sure you strike, and strike again. All right, good night.